Today on Deer Gear, Cabela's Wildlife Management shows us what to plant in our summer food plots. We introduce the brand new Viking 6 from Yamaha. And finally, Wade Middleton gives us tips on rattling. All that and more coming up on Deer Gear.
Well, it's been a long time coming, and we finally received some decent rain here in southwest Texas. Now, if you'll remember, I dissed this field back in March with the intention of planting it soon thereafter, but we just didn't get the moisture. It's now June, and we finally received enough rain to justify putting the Lab Lab seed into the ground. As you know, Lab Lab is a great plant for South Texas. It's especially drought tolerant and exceptionally high in protein and digestibility, which means it's going to provide exactly what these deer need going into the summer months. We got bucks actively growing antlers and does tending to fawns, so now it's just time to get it in the field. Now, as you could tell, we didn't get a lot of weed and grass growth in this field after we dissed it, nor did I really anticipate that happening. We don't have that many plants in this area that really invade and dominate a site. So once this Lab Lab is up and growing, it'll outcompete anything that may pop up within the next few weeks. Well, better late than never, and at least the seed's in the ground. I still have a little bigger food plot I need to finish off. Once that's done, I need to fence off this area to keep the deer off of it until the food plot becomes established. Once it's established, I can let the deer have free access to it. At that point, it's up to Mother Nature to provide the moisture to ensure that these plants keep growing and are healthy.
Go to Cabela's.com/WLM for more info about wildlife and land management, and go more in depth with all the tractors, implements, and products that Cabela's has to offer.
If you have food plots and want to start an Antler Max feeding program, where should you put the feeders? Place your protein feeders on the outside of the food plot about 50 to 100 yards within cover. Never place them in the middle of the field. Mature bucks do not like to go to feeders out in the open. If you have a water source, it's best to position the feeder in that area so you have the elements of food, water, and cover all in the same location. We recommend going with a 1,000 or 2,000 pound feeder because you will grow into the capacity and minimize your labor in making frequent trips to refill them. Just because you have a large feeder doesn't mean you have to fill them up. For more information, visit us at antlermax.com.
I'm a very big believer in doing everything and anything you can to increase the quality of the wild game on your property. Increase the nutritional value so that you can have bigger animals, to increase the carrying capacity by having more feeding opportunities out there. I don't care what it is, that's what I want to do. I want to make it better. And one of the ways that we will do this is using a variety of the different blocks that are available out there. And some of them are simply straight salt, and other ones have some protein content in them. And we will use these blocks in a lot of different manners to help the area. Not only to attract game into it from a hunting opportunity, but to just enhance the area, to draw them into the general area. And there's so many variables that go to that that are going to help you be more successful that you can't go wrong by just simply putting them out. But there's a few things that I have found that will really make you gain more out of having them in play. One of them is when you deploy a mineral block, put it in areas you know that already have some game in them. Give them a reason to stay, for lack of a better word. Enhance that area, because habitat can change based on the weather conditions. And when you see the habitat really starting to struggle, that's when you really want to make sure you get some supplements out there for your game. And a block is a great one because the deer can stop at it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Give them a couple of quick nibbles, no different than you when you're walking by that snack tray watching a football game. You want to nibble a little bit, a deer's going to be the same way. Other ways that you can use them are put them around existing areas that you're trying to get deer into to make them find that food source. You know, if there's never been a reason for them to stop in that area or stay in that area before, then why should they be there now? But if you go out there with the different types of mineral blocks, they're going to find a reason to stop and stay. Just like the corner store on the side of the road. If it wasn't there before, you drove right on by. If they build a corner store and you need a snack or some gas, you're going to stop there. These types of blocks can be deployed in a lot of different locations to enhance your area. So if you'll take the time to be able to put them out, definitely put them into play. Always check your local game and state regulations to make sure it's legal in your area. And if it is, I'm telling you, go deploy them and you will find success by having the different types of mineral blocks that can be placed out.
Deer Gear is brought to you by Cabela's. It's in your nature. Thompson Center, America's master gun makers. And by Yamaha ATVs and side-by-sides. We'll get you there.
The Yamaha Viking, and introducing the all-new Viking 6. The hardest working, most off-road capable side-by-sides in America. Built for the hardest working people on earth. You.
Julie Goloski, Smith & Wesson Consumer Program Manager and World Champion Shooter.
Joe Zanetti, Smith & Wesson Finishing Specialist and lifelong hunter.
Jim Dalton, Smith & Wesson Master Gunsmith. I shoot competitively, and so does my son.
Our people, our products, our passion. Smith & Wesson.
What if there was a camera that went where you went and shot what you shot? An action camera so easy to use you can concentrate on your hunt, not the hunt for the record button. A camera that let you add dimensions to your video, like speed, altitude, or even your heart rate, just before you let it fly. Life, camera, action. The Verb Elite HD Action Camera from Garmin.
For camping, fishing, hunting, or anything outdoors, bring along Arctic Ice. Simply freeze these versatile cooler packs and they're ready to keep your food and drinks cold throughout your outing. Arctic Ice can maintain in a cooler 60% longer than the equal weight of regular ice, and with no more mess or soggy food. Arctic Ice is clean and easy. Alaskan Series can maintain a sub 40-degree cooler for days, and the Tundra Series can keep game frozen till it gets home. Preserve an Arctic refuge in your cooler. Choose Arctic Ice.
You know, feeders and feeding programs are something that I've been a proponent of and positive about and spoke passionately about for over 20 years. I believe that a good feeding program, if you use all the sources that are available out there, are one of the best ways to ensure quality game management. You know, that your game is going to be healthy, that you've got an opportunity to harvest the best possible animal that you possibly can, and that you can also defeat some of the big swings that Mother Nature throws at us with heavy droughts or floods or whatever it may be that change the habitat out there. Now, there's people out there that don't like that, and that's fine. I'm not here to convince you one way or the other. I'm just here to say that's something that I believe in and I think really helps your property. It allows you as a game manager to be more successful. I'm not saying you even have to necessarily hunt over it, because in a lot of places it's totally illegal. So you need to know what your particular state offers. But I can tell you, in the state of Texas, one of the best things they ever did is make sure that people can help game manage their properties by having an aggressive feeding program. We have taken pieces of property in the past that really had nothing but rat-head deer, little freaking junky deer and skinny bodies, and turned them into places that are incredibly great to hunt, that carry more deer now than they normally would in different situations. And we've been able to overcome some incredible droughts. And some of the ways that we've done that is simply just being aggressive with a multi-source plan to create supplemental feeding programs out there. And my approach is pretty simple. I'm going to use a lot of different variables. One of them is going to be timer corn feeders. This primarily is a big role between September and say January out there when you're trying to get them into a certain area, probably closer to your hunting area. You typically set them to go off morning and evening for a set amount of time, and they'll throw corn out, and obviously variety of game comes there. And if you believe that the biggest buck in the world is always going to stand under that feeder and be shot, you're dead wrong. You're just trying to get a lot of deer in that area, because you better be watching everything around it if you're particularly hunting over that feeder. But it also benefits your quail, your migratory birds that stop by, any of your wild turkeys, and a variety of other non-native game species out there. Now, one other thing that really gets me excited that we use 12 months out of the year is our free choice protein feeders. There we rely on Purina Antler Max primarily to deliver these feeds right in there. And it allows the deer to come and go as they please, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It creates a great nutritional program that is available for these deer to enhance their body so that they can recover from the rigors of whatever the stress is happening out in the world at that particular time.
When you're in the outdoors, you always need some sort of tool to get the job done. Wade Middleton has just the gear you need in a segment we call Tools of the Field.
You know, when it comes to tools for the field, one thing we'll talk about today is keeping things cold. Keeping things cold to me is, you know, you're going to go to a lot of remote locations when you're hunting or fishing, or say you're just going to a ball game or wherever it may be, and you don't want your beverages to get cold. You obviously don't want your meat to get cold and spoil, or whatever it may be that you've got in your cooler. And one way that we have found to really maximize keeping things cold is the usage of Arctic ice. Not only does it keep things cold, it also eliminates mess. You know, to me, messy ice chests are a pain in the butt. You think about it. Let's stop down at our local convenience store. Let's grab a couple bags of ice. Let's pull it in there. It's gonna melt. It's gonna happen. That's just what's gonna happen. And when it does, your drinks are gonna get warm. Your sandwiches in there are gonna get soggy. And it's just plain a mess when it comes time to clean it up when you're done. You gotta dump it out somewhere. But with Arctic ice, you take a product straight out of the freezer, you put it in your cooler, and you don't have that mess, and you're gonna be rewarded with something cold. Speaking of a cooler, we have really found recently that ramping it up and starting using an Engel cooler over the typical cheap things that you find anywhere else has ensured that we don't have to worry about our Arctic ice thawing out or anything thawing out for a long time. You can basically pack something in that Engel cooler, lock it down, and know that it's going to be there cool for a few days to come, unlike a lot of the cheap coolers that are on the market today. So when we're heading to a very remote location, say we're heading up on a very remote deer hunt, or we're heading down to the beach for a few days, or simply heading to a ball game and we're going to have a picnic a couple of days from now, if you'll take that mix of Arctic ice and an Engel cooler, you're going to be rewarded with something cold when you get there.
Like what you see on Deer Gear? Win products and gift cards simply by liking us on Facebook at Deer Gear TV. You'll get up-to-date info on all our featured gear and the inside scoop on upcoming giveaways. Just visit facebook.com/DeerGearTV. Deer Gear is brought to you by Do All Outdoors, innovative gear for the hunter and shooter. 10-point crossbow technologies. There is no substitute. And by Garmin, the power of simple.
Zippo hand warmers, 12-hour reusable and disposable furnaces that keep you fishing longer. Because cold hands bite.
Experience Hi-Vis, a brighter sight picture than standard sights, giving you an immediate, more successful shooting performance. Hi-Vis lets you see a dramatic contrast between the target and the barrel for a more intuitive aim that delivers instant results. Our light pipes come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors, designed to be seen in a variety of conditions. With our broad line of sights, you'll see your marksmanship dramatically improve, bringing more fun and confidence into every shooting experience. Shoot more accurately. Enjoy the sport. Choose Hi-Vis.
When you change the game, you make the rules. Introducing the all-new Vapor from 10 Point, the most technologically advanced crossbow ever created. 10 Point, there is no substitute.
After your next successful deer hunt, savor the flavor with a Bradley Smoker. They have a whole list of creative recipes for venison with a wide variety of delicious smoky wood flavors. Find out more about making your meal as memorable as the hunt at BradleySmoker.com. Since 1976, Delta Ag has been an industry leader in plant health and nutrition. With our innovative concept and chemistry, Delta Ag produces healthier crops and improves yields. We formulate biostimulants and micronutrients designed to improve fertilizer efficiency and increase crop response to nutrients. Make your fertilizer go further with reliable products that work. Grow healthier crops from the ground up with versatile low-rate products. Delta Ag, improving plant performance.
When I'm not hunting, I'm thinking about hunting. It's on my mind because it's in my blood. When the hunt calls, my TC Venture points the way. Accurate, reliable, proven. Until there's no more ground to cover and no more stories to tell. When you're a TC Venture hunter, the hunt never ends.
We all know that Yamaha makes top-of-the-line 3-passenger side-by-sides, but Yamaha has recently doubled their efforts and have now released their brand-new Viking 6, a 6-passenger side-by-side that is ready to conquer whatever comes its way. The Viking 6 boasts a 9.7-gallon engine for long road trips, a class-leading 115.6-inch wheelbase that smooths out the ride and provides spacious comfort for all 6 passengers. It also has an on-command 4-wheel drive system, perfect for handling whatever the great outdoors has to offer.
When I get ready to head off-road, I want to make sure I've got a vehicle that's got power, but I also want to make sure that I've got comfort to it. I don't want to be jostled around all the time. And when I was riding around the Viking 6, that's one of the things that I noticed was its comfort. I also noticed that its incredible size inside the cabin, whether you're sitting in the back or you're sitting in the front. I mean, as the driver, I had ample leg room, and I've got some pretty long legs out there, and I had plenty of room to be comfortable and sit back and not feel crowded in there. And when you put 6 people in this unit, you're going to be dealing with the same situation due to the offset middle seat, which is allowing that person that sits in the middle to have his own shoulder room because that middle seat is leaned back a little bit. Then when you look at how much clearance this unit has and what you can climb with it and the amount of power to it, you don't have to worry about being underpowered when you've got 6 people in there and all their gear, whether you're heading, down a pipeline, whether you're working on the farm, or you're heading out to your favorite deer stand in the dark. The Yamaha Viking 6 is a unit that's going to provide you with what you need when you head to the field.
The vehicle was really designed around hauling 6 people around, and we're talking full-size adults. So it's designed in such a way that you can fit in there comfortably. On top of that, you've got room for your gear. This vehicle is really perfect for the hunter and the big ranches out there. You can transport a ton of people, a ton of gear. You can get them there comfortably and quickly, and it's extremely durable and reliable. So whatever your need is, we're going to have accessories out there that you can modify this vehicle to your needs. On top of that, some of the key features, we've got power steering. It's going to make it a lot more comfortable, more terrainable. Also, we've got features like our on-command 4-wheel drive system for when the going gets rough. We've got a lot of ground clearance, great suspension travel. It's extremely comfortable, even in rougher terrain. You can go up some really steep hills. It's really going to be able to get you back and forth in comfort, which is really a key thing when you're out there hunting all day. So whether you're a hunter, whether you're in the commercial industries like oil and gas, farming and ranching, we took all of those aspects and really tied them all into one vehicle. You can haul people, you can haul gear, you can do it safely, reliably, and comfortably, and those are really the key components that really satisfy all those different customer needs and markets.
To find a Yamaha dealer near you, visit YamahaMotorsports.com. Deer Gear is brought to you by Nikon Sport Optics, next generation now. High-Vis Shooting Systems. And Smith & Wesson, made in the USA since 1952.
Since 1996, Frog Togs outerwear have kept outdoorsmen warm and dry, even in the worst of conditions. Now, Frog Togs have expanded beyond hunting and fishing markets and revolutionized the industry with their patented fabric system. Frog Togs are extremely lightweight and portable. They pack easily in your car, boat, RV, and even on your motorcycle. Best of all, Frog Togs are 100% waterproof and windproof, and yet extremely breathable. Check us out online at frogtogs.com. Frog Togs, stop the rain.
Faster. Smarter. More powerful.
The new ZX7 processor from Stealth Cannon. The game has changed.
After all my years of searching, I finally busted the myth of the Yeti! The Engel High Performance Cooler, it's incredible! Just look at this lid, what a powerhouse! It's so freaking strong, so reliable, I just wanna boom! This silicone gasket's better than rubber!
Why, hello there. Are your base and sidewalls way thicker for superior insulation?
Oh, yes! After 10 days, still cold, still fresh! Let's hear Yeti do that! With Engel Coolers, it's official! The Yeti is busted!
When you change the game, you make the rules. Introducing the all-new Stealth SS from 10 Point, the most compact crossbow we've ever created. 10 Point, there is no substitute.
After your next successful hog hunt, savor the flavor with a Bradley Smoker. They have a whole list of creative recipes dedicated to pork with a wide variety of delicious smoky wood flavors. Find out more about making your meal as memorable as the hunt at BradleySmoker.com.
For an efficient way to break down your next buck or doe, the Bubba Blade can't be beat. As a field knife, the Bubba Blade performs well, easily breaking down game on the spot. Paul F. Taylor, long-range expert with 14 big game animals qualified for the record books, has more to say.
Just took that right off. You've got your pistol grip here for your trigger finger. Fits right in there so you're not going to slip. You have a Teflon blade. No meat's going to stick to that. That surface is absolutely repels anything from sticking to it. It's a real easy cleanup.
In the kitchen, the knife does just as well, slicing through steaks with ease. Whether your meat is fresh shot in the field or picked up from the supermarket, the Bubba Blade is able to get the job done. Hard meats, such as summer sausage, were sliced just as easy as a soft and juicy brisket, and the Bubba Blade makes slicing ribs simple. For more information about the Bubba Blade, check out BubbaBlade.com.
Hey guys, it's early July and we've been working on these wildlife and land management projects for about 7-8 months now. So we want to take a little bit of time and recap some of these and go back and visit them and see how they're doing. Now for instance, this is one of our good projects that really brought some water into an area that didn't have water. It's a basic guzzler system. And we built this at home, brought it out here in the back of a truck. It's nothing more than some sheet metal on top, used at an angle to flow downhill, flows to a gutter system, comes down into the guzzler and holds water. We did finally get about a 6 or 7 inch rainfall, which is pretty common for the Southwest. When it comes heavy. So this roof design was designed to gather about 31 gallons of water per 1 inch of rainfall. So when we get 6 inches, this thing filled up. As you can tell, it's supplying water to wildlife, which is in a really heavy travel corridor area right here. So it's been really a blessing to have this water here when we didn't traditionally have it. Now, a second project we worked on this summer was the planting of this lab. Now, we would have liked to have planted it much earlier in the year, say March, when our ground temperature started to warm up, and we're in South Texas and they warm up in March. We really had to wait till very late May to plant it because we had no moisture in the ground. But we did get just enough moisture in the ground in late May to get the seed in the ground. Then it dried up a little bit, but fortunately about 2 weeks later we got about 6 inches of rain. So we're now in early July and we have about 8 inches of lab growth. Now this is a really good plant for Southwest Texas. It's extremely drought tolerant and it'll continue to grow even through these dry conditions. Now of course if we can get some rain here and there throughout the summer, it'll continue to grow and get really tall. It's an excellent plant for these deer to eat. It's got protein, it's highly digestible, it's great for does, it's great for fawns, it's great for bucks growing antlers. It's a great plant to have, so we're really happy with what's done on this project so far.
Go to Cabela's.com/WLM for more info about wildlife and land management, and go more in-depth with all the tractors, implements, and products that Cabela's has to offer.
You know, some tips that I always have when it comes to rattling. No doubt about it that you got to pay attention to the time of the year. You know, early in the year or late in the year, probably tinkling a little bit is going to be more successful than banging them hard in the peak of the rut. When deer are really in the peak of the rut and they're trying to set up their dominant, they fight hard. That's why they, you know, one of the reasons why they lose so much weight. You know, they're fighting, they're chasing does, there's just a lot going on. And when it's really going on, you want to bang them as loud as you can. You want to use natural antlers, preferably, to really create a sound that mimics what's going on out there. And sometimes that's not this little tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. That's bang. I mean, that is hitting it hard. That's kicking the rocks. That's thrashing the trees. That's making all of it. And, you know, obviously when you're up in the tree stand, it's a lot harder to do that. And safety-wise, you probably got to tinkle. But if you're down on the ground rattling in a setup like we like to do in Texas a lot of times, you know, I'm going to ease up into a mesquite bush. I'm going to ease up into something. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start throwing rocks. I'm going to start stamping. I'm going to bang in the tree. You know, the first things that happen are deer are posturing. You know, they're kicking the ground. Think about a couple of dogs fighting. Think about a couple of big bullies getting ready to go at it. Man, they're posturing. That's some of these other sounds. And when they first hit the antlers, if they're just tinkling, their body's not moving. But if it's two big bucks fighting, you've got dust flying, you've got bodies flying, you've got spit flying, you've got brush being knocked around, you've got all these crazy sounds that are going on, and that's what you've got to mimic. If you're trying to draw out the buck that's going to want to come to that buck fight and get him out in front of you, bang, 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 and you will bring them out.
If you are in need of some rattling antlers, visit your nearest Cabela's. Every buck hunter needs a set of authentic whitetail sheds. Collected from Montana, Wyoming, and New Mexico game farms, these rattling antlers make it hard for bucks to resist. To use this essential buck hunting call, simply grip the bases of the antlers and rattle them together to create irresistible sounds that draw the big boys in close. We venture along with Wade and Yamaha's Steve Nessel on a rattling hunt to see the Cabela's real rack rattling antlers in action.
Do I have it? Young deer. No reason to get the gun up, right? It's pretty when they come out all blown up wanting to fight like that. They're trying to circle us downwind. Alright, let's move. You get him?
Oh yeah, he's down right there. Woo! How quickly does that happen? How quickly does that happen?
Awesome.
Good shot, dude. That's not that easy from there.
No, well, that's down. I had, you saw like this. I had it all braced.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty good.
Yeah, no, you got it. That's pretty cool. That's the thing about rattling to me. I mean, that's why I like it. You know, it's amazing to me. You rattle in a lot of the deer that I consider to be down the pecking order versus the top of the pecking order. And I think what happens is, and that's not always the case, but it's been my experience a lot of times when you're rattling, the subordinate bucks in the group in that area come in behind who they think are the two big bulls of the woods, because I rattle hard when I rattle. And they'll come in and they'll circle around and they'll kind of mix it up like that. But I mean, I've rattled in some absolute giants in my life, but it is real interesting to me that the first ones that come more often than not are like the third, fourth, fifth deer in the pecking order when I'm out there.
Like what you see on Deer Gear? Win products and gift cards simply by liking us on Facebook at Deer Gear TV. You'll get up-to-date info on all our featured gear and the inside scoop on upcoming giveaways. Just visit facebook.com/DeerGearTV.